Thank you so much. That opening piece, a Jubilant Fanfare, is just so jubilant, isn't it? It's got a lot of techniques in it, and it's got a lot of joyfulness. It was written by Cynthia Dobrinsky, who is a famous handbell composer. She's published hundreds of pieces. She's now deceased, unfortunately, but she did work at a church just down the road a bit in Martinsville for many, many years, so she's a local composer. We're glad you've come here tonight to join us and spend some time with us, enjoying some special music. This program's a little different than what we usually do, because none of these pieces relate to each other. There's no theme. It truly is a handbell potpourri. Every piece will be different, and so you're sure to find something that you'll like, hopefully a lot of things that you like. Our next piece is a beautiful arrangement of Amazing Grace. It's featuring not one, but two flute players. We spare no expense here at the Lone Mountain Ringers. We are fortunate to have many talented musicians among our groups. Most of these people play music somewhere else or do music professionally. And we have a composer among us, and a few piano players, and a few music teachers. So these are 2 examples of some of our talented musicians we have in this group. We also thank Pearl Marshall, who is a bell director over in Salem at the Methodist Church, and she's playing Melissa's part, because when I take 2 ringers away to go play flutes, we're a ringer short. So relax and enjoy the stunning arrangement of Amazing Grace. I could do that every Sunday in church. That would be wonderful. I have done that piece many times before and played it, and I've conducted it. It's the first time I've gotten to do it with two flute players, so this is an exciting moment to get to hear it with two flutes. Our next piece on the program is written by a composer who lives in Hong Kong. Emily Lee is her name. I've had the pleasure of meeting her, and I've played under her direction at international handball symposiums. Nocturnal Fantasy was inspired by a Chinese poem, and I've put that poem in the program. The writer of the poem is called Li Bai, and he wrote this in the 700s, not the 1700s, the 700s, as in 1300 years ago, which is amazing. And the poem is, I wake and moonbeams play around my bed, glittering like hoarfrost to my wandering eyes. Up toward the glorious moon I raise my head, then lay me down, and thoughts of home arise. So this is what she was thinking of when she wrote this piece. And Emily Lee says the opening of the piece paints a picture of a quiet stream with a reflection of the moon in the water. The quiet atmosphere eventually transforms into an energetic fantasy and builds to a strong final statement of the music. And at the end, you'll hear the themes from the beginning stated again. Thank you. You could hear in that piece a lot of our bass chimes, which really are such a great addition to our choir to have those big low bass chimes coming through on a piece like that. They set a really beautiful mood. Our next piece, Michael Hellman, the composer, has written some notes about the piece. So I'm going to read to you what he wrote, because this piece will make a lot more sense if you hear what he had in mind. The events of September 11th, 2001 dramatically affected us all. As someone who visits New York City on a regular basis, I truly felt a personal loss. Many times I started my day with a train or ferry ride across the Hudson River to the World Trade Center. Watching the events unfold on television, I felt a strong need to see firsthand what was left of New York's great landmark. My feelings were heightened as I played for the funeral of a young man killed at the Pentagon on that fateful day. So at the end of September, I made my pilgrimage to Ground Zero. I was profoundly moved by what I saw. What could I do to help? I set pen to paper and poured out my feelings and my prayers in music. I hope that others will hear this prayer for world peace and remember not only those who lost their lives on September 11th, but also the heroes and heroines who toiled so desperately trying to save lives. The 4 opening chords of the piece represent the 4 planes that crashed that day. The chords include all 12 tones of the chromatic scale to symbolize the effect that terrorism has on everyone. So I will warn you that those 4 chords at the beginning of this piece are very dissonant and they're a little surprising, but they represent the evil that we sometimes have to face in the world, the evil and the violence that happens that we can't control. And then the rest of the piece is just this beautiful prayer. So I invite you to be in a mood of prayer, thinking about, this still applies today, unfortunately. This is not just about September 11th. Of course, we face these problems on a daily basis in our world of of violence and terror happening. So this prayer is for all of us. I think a bell choir is the most peaceful group you can belong to. Because it always occurs to me when I think of a bell choir, it's one instrument where everyone only plays certain notes. You don't play the whole thing, right? Each one of them has certain bells in front of them, and they only play those notes. And so everybody has to work together. Doesn't matter where they all came from, they all have come from all different backgrounds, but when you come to a bell choir, you're playing one instrument. So we got 13, 14 people playing one instrument together. It's really wonderful. Very peaceful feeling. We're going to be doing our last piece on the first half, Passacaglia in G, but we will be returning, and you can see we've got some fun pieces on the second half. This piece is by George Frederick Handel, the same Handel that a lot of you might know, who wrote Water Music and all of these things, and Handel's Messiah and all of that. This is his Passacaglia in G minor. A Passacaglia is a set that's a set of variations over a certain chord pattern. In this case, it's a 4-measure chord pattern, and the piece contains many challenges for all the ringers, because each time in each variation, he makes it more and more difficult until at the end it's almost unplayable, but we'll get through it. Now, during the intermission, our ushers will come around and they'll do a collection. Sue and Bob will come around, Sarah and Bob will come around and take donations. We are a nonprofit volunteer organization, and we rely entirely on donations to keep us going. And we have to buy music, maintain the instruments, expand our set of bells, like we've added some low bass chimes in the past couple of years, and a couple of the silver bass bells. Play that, what do you got there, the G2 or the F2 on the table? That big bell. Is that Ruth? There we go, yeah. And they just kind of add to our sound, so we're still trying to expand our set. And we also have operating expenses, websites, stuff like that. So we're thankful for any help you can give us. On the back of our program, you'll also find other ways you can support us. Also, during the intermission, I have an assignment for you. Didn't know you were going to have an assignment, did you? There's a couple QR codes on your program right above Stairway to Heaven there, and it will allow you to download a concert lighter app on your phone, because we're going to make it like a rock concert where we all have our lighter app. So during intermission, you can fool around with that. When you get on there and you've installed it, if you install it, you can select a lighter. Look carefully, because some of them are premium lighters and some are free lighters. So look for one that doesn't have a diamond in the upper left-hand corner, and then that would be a free one if it doesn't have that diamond, because I don't want you to have to spend money to be our rock lights. So, so you can work on that during intermission, and we'll come back at the second half and you will have audience participation. Now we all need to dump some ice water on our heads after that, so we'll be back.
Hey, how's it going? Sure. Yeah. That'd be good. I wasn't sure if you download your app.
I was like, something's off.
Because I like hang things on my wall in my office. Ricky? Okay. How's your mom? She went to Bible study. Okay. Yeah, next one will be Christmas. It probably won't be on a Tuesday. Come to the next one. Okay. I have to go take a picture of all. Oh, wait. Oh, he has his phone. Can you take a picture? Hey, Victor can do it. Victor, do you know Dylan? Have you met Dylan before?
Okay, so
Have everything.
Well, I hope you did your assignment. Did you do your assignment? Some of you did. So if you've got your lighter, you can open it up and you can flick your phone to open it.
Oh, there.
Light it, maybe. Now, what I do ask is, wait, no, I've got it. What I do ask is, some of your phones may do this when you're using the lighter. Do not point this part at the ringers. They have lots of dots on the page. They don't need other dots in their eyes. So if your flashlight goes on like it does on my phone when I use the lighter app, don't shine that in our face, please. We will be blinded. So we're going to start our second half with a rock classic by Led Zeppelin. This is going to bring a lot of you back. This is my high school days here. This was played at, I think, every junior high and high school dance when I was young. You'll never hear Stairway in Heaven the same way again after that. This next piece is Duke, Glenn, and Woody, and this comes from an experience we had this year. This year we did a few different things that we haven't done before. We went over to WDBJ7 and recorded some Christmas songs, which were broadcast during Christmas week. That was very exciting. And we also went up to Ocean City, Maryland. There's a festival up there just about every year. And this year they decided to precede that festival with a festival for community choirs. And so there was about 6 or 7 choirs. We all got together and we prepared a concert in one day and then performed a concert for the people who came for the festival. And this was one of the pieces, a couple of the pieces on our program. A few of them came from that festival because we had to learn them anyway for that, so we're using them again. And this was one of those pieces. Duke, Glenn, and Woody was one of the ones we performed in Ocean City. It's a medley of 3 different jazz standards. Don't Get Around Much Anymore by Duke Ellington, Moonlight Serenade by Glenn Miller, which sounds lovely on the bells, and Woodchopper's Ball by Woody Herman. The arranger of this piece, Al Reese, is a handbell director actually in the Tidewater area of Virginia, and he's a former chair of Area 3 of the Handbell Musicians of America. Alan and I actually served on the board together for a couple of years, and he did a great job capturing the big band feel in this piece. I'm going to have to go up there in a second, but I'll just tell you about this song. This is a gospel favorite. It's a New Orleans jazz classic, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. And here it is arranged for handbells and clarinet. And this arrangement even has a little bit of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue that you'll hear in it. Karen Harwood is going to be conducting so that I can go play the clarinet part. How many of you know Bizet's opera Carmen? Ooh, a lot of you. Good. Okay, we're going to do a piece from Carmen. This is one of the intermezzos. It's the one that comes before the fourth act, I believe. It's well known even to people who don't follow opera. A lot of the pieces from Carmen, people recognize the Toreador song and all of that. And this one has a very Spanish flavor. We're going to add to that Spanish flavor by having a tambourine player. Thank you, Rebecca. And it's a challenging piece for bells because of all the fast passage work. It really wasn't meant to be played on bells, but it is fun to do it. This selection will, if you want to say ole at any time. Well, welcome to the world premiere of a new piece for organ and handbells. Cortege and Litany was written by Marcel Dupré, and he wrote it for many different instruments. He wrote a version for piano, he wrote a version for orchestra, he wrote a version for orchestra and organ, but I think the most well-known version he has is for solo organ, which is the version I learned when I was way back in college. I did it in my graduate recital, actually. So it was actually a suggestion of one of our ringers, so I have to be careful when I listen to them because then I got involved in this whole thing. Landon Paul back there said, "Oh, I was just listening to this awesome piece," and he was listening to the orchestra version of it with orchestra and organ, and I think it would sound really great with bells. And so then I couldn't not do it, right? So I hunkered down and wrote out a transcription, so we're going to see how this works. A cortege, for those of you who don't know, is a solemn procession. It's like a funeral procession, and you'll hear that at the beginning. It's very quiet, strings on the organ, and eventually the bells come in. And then the litany part, a litany is like a repetitive pattern, and usually it refers to a prayer. And you'll hear, again, the organ starts the litany first, and you'll hear this nice little motif in the organ, and eventually the bells join in again. But the big thing I love about this piece is the ending, because it builds and builds and builds, and at the very end, both themes are combined, and it's just fabulous. And it ends with full organ, so just be ready. After the concert, if you want to come up and talk to any of the ringers and ask questions, we'd be glad to chat with you, and you can come up and see the bells and the different things that we have up here, all the toys we have that we like to call them. And we're so glad you were able to come here tonight, and we hope to see you at our programs again in the future. Organists have special shoes. That's just how we roll, right? And in my old age, I even have special glasses for the
minor
in
than a
town or
flippy.
visited?
They make
Visited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Oh my. Okay. Carolyn visited a couple times.
Yeah,
Their motorcycle was like
Yes.
because like when my normal was falling apart. Shredded.
There were a couple times it's like, oh, you didn't meet our friend Carolyn last time she was here, or the time
Yeah,
before that. So now I'm
yeah.
So they
And they have Brits. I would definitely assume that he would
put you through it in
Yeah,
true friendship.
they're not that expensive. They're